And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. It is a Thursday. Almost October's about gone. I don't know where time is going. I say that a lot here on the show, but man, it just feels like October went faster than September. So we're almost to Thanksgiving here in a few weeks. And of course, presented by our friends at Bangtail Whiskey and of course their friends over at Hank Jr. Productions.com. Make sure you check them out. Bangtail.com, HankJr. Productions.com. And of course, you can also find Bangtail Whiskey in most liquor stores out there today, especially in Nashville. And of course, easyliquor.com is a good place to go there for it too. Good place to be here live on the YouTube channel and at the Sports Guys podcast.com. We'll finish off the week's wire with another fantastic singer, Jessica Soul, coming on the show. But pleased to welcome in Jake Sharon here on the Backstage Pass with a group called the East Pointers. And the new album is called House of Dreams across all the digital platforms out there for you guys listening pleasure. Jake, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Brandon. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, I love that kind of jersey. You got like a captain symbol on the jersey. I need to see what. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I figured I'd put this on for the show today.
Well, I do talk a little bit of both, so there you go. I can appreciate the way the Maple Leafs play, no doubt about it, and definitely love a hockey fan myself. I grew up a Dallas Stars fan down here, Mike Modano, and of course all those great players through the early 2000s and of course late 2000s there. So I love hockey, man, and one of my favorite things to do is to kind of watch it in person. And I know for you guys, like let's kind of start here. We'll get to hockey later on in the show, but let's start with you guys, the East Pointers. First of all, I love the name of the group. I've never heard anything like that when it comes down to it. This album, House of Dreams, is fantastic, including the title track and all the way through it. But how did you guys meet? Take me through this story of becoming a band. And I know there's a lot of trials and tribulations that go through with this, right?
Yeah, we've been at it a little while. So we're coming to you from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, which is on the east coast of Canada, around Nova Scotia, Newfoundland. It's way up north. And Tim Chasen and Cody Chasen and myself formed this band about 10 years ago. And Tim and Cody are first cousins. Obviously knew each other right through. And I met them quite a while ago. We all played traditional sort of Celtic music. That's pretty common on the eastern coast of Canada, and just bonded over that, and also our love for contemporary like pop and folk and rock, and just started a band to experiment with all of that and write some songs. And started out as just a little project in a local pub here, and we got busier than we expected to be. And yeah, it's been quite a ride. For sure.
I can only imagine too. Like I said, coming together as a group, and just recently you guys went through definitely. I mean, tragedy, man. My heart goes out to you guys. Talk about this, the situation there, and definitely my condolences here and everybody here from the Backstage Pass to the friends and family of Cody. Man, take me through this and just how tough this has been, but very instrumental in Cody in making this album, House of Dreams, right?
Yeah. Definitely the hardest thing I've been through. Still don't have words for it really, but we lost Cody. He passed away in January, just at 37, I think he was.
Oh.
And just out of nowhere had an aortic aneurysm, and was a pretty incredible story. He quit drinking when we started the band, and became sober and quit kind of everything, and was just like such a success story, and an advocate for mental health, and the band was really his what kept him going. He was the driving force behind the band, and a big part of the success that we've had. And yeah, I guess pandemic struck, and we were stuck in lockdown, and put this album together. We all hunkered down in Charlottetown in my basement studio. Actually, you can't see much now, but yeah, we were all here and wrote a ton of music, and we were working on this album, and it was pretty well all recorded and finished when Cody left. So we definitely knew right away we had to get this music out to everybody. Code was really excited about it, and yeah, it's been quite a year. A lot of challenges along the way, but pretty proud of this album, as Code was.
Yeah, and you should be too. And it's always tough, man. We've all been through there. Again, my condolences to him, the family, you guys, everybody out there who makes this band very much sound that good. Hey, let's talk back up a little bit before we kind of dive into the latest project, House of Dreams. Let's go to Yours to Break a little bit. I kind of loved the first three on there. Really, I'm gonna go kind of in order there. Wintergreen, man. Let's get kind of the backstory on that one and kind of how this album came together.
Thanks for listening. You've done your research.
You got to, man. That's part of being a great host, right? And putting on a great show.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We recorded that. It was released in 2019, I guess, and we recorded that in Nashville with a a good buddy of ours. He's from Cape Breton, Canada, but he's been living in Nashville, writing hits for all the big wigs down there for years now. His name's Gordy Sampson.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fantastic songwriter and producer, and we did that down at a studio called the Sound Emporium in Gordy's house. And yeah, Wintergreen, first track, first single.
I love that song, no doubt. And then let's go to Country Cable, which is on there too for you guys. The second track on there. Give me a little backstory on that one.
Yeah, it kind of features some of our sort of traditional instrumental, the side of the band, just a few tunes that we wrote. We started off just playing banjo, fiddle, guitar, and there's a few synths and stuff that sneak into the sound over the years. But yeah, just we did a lot of gigs, a lot of playing, a lot of festivals, and it's fun to play this stuff live, get people dancing.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing too, is you mentioned the live thing is, man, the shows are back now and everybody's kind of in that regular rotation of taking the stage again in all genres of music. Good to see concerts back and people just having something to do on a Friday and a Saturday night to just get away from the rigors of staying at home for after what we all went through for the past couple of years. What's it felt like to kind of be back out amongst the crowd and on stage again?
Yeah, we haven't done too much, to be honest. Trying to just navigate that since we lost Cody, but yeah, we've been focusing on the studio, but it's definitely amazing to see live gigs happen even around here. Been out to a few gigs, and there's nothing like it, standing in a crowd with a bunch of other people listening to good music. So I know you got tons of that down where you live.
Yeah, Texas is always full of it, man. No doubt. We got concerts on every corner, and like I said, small venues or big venues. It's happening everywhere you can think about. Somebody always asks me, "Hey, you got tickets to this show? Tickets to this show?" I'm like, I don't even have tickets to the Astros playoff game tonight, coming up against the Yankees for that being game 2. But when I do get something, I love to share the wealth. We'll have some giveaways here on the podcast coming up here in a few weeks.
Nice.
Yours to break too. The other one that really caught my attention. There's a couple more on there. The first one, the next one that I really enjoyed was Halfway Tree. Give me a little breakdown on Halfway Tree too.
Halfway Tree, it's a song about a story that we stumbled across, an old folklore story from Prince Edward Island, and there was this tree in between the two towns that I guess people would meet at, and there was stories of kind of mischief happening at this halfway tree, and so that was the foundation of the song, and just snuck in a fiddle tune and a Cuban bass riff, and yeah, tried to make a bit of a festival dance vibe for that one.
It felt like it, no doubt. I wanted to dance. I actually did dance in my truck, no doubt, with my little kid. So she really enjoyed that one too.
Good to hear.
Shaking her shoulders and having a good time there with the rhythm and, of course, all the lyrics there. Let's talk about another one off that same album again, 4 Years to Break, Before My Time.
Before My Time, yeah, another instrumental. Yeah, sort of tried to touch on our like 90s hip hop vibe, or listening to the radio growing up in high school. Yeah, obviously there's a bit of that classic sort of hip hop piano riff in there, and with the banjo tune, which maybe isn't super common, but yeah, that was another fun one to play live for sure.
All right, I'm gonna go a little old school here now because we'll go back, and this is how we talk about the research, man. Let's go back to What We Leave Behind, and between this one here and one that definitely stuck out to me with instrumentation and I think everything put together, 2 weeks. Love that one.
Yeah, 2 weeks. It's a pretty common story on the east coast of Canada. A lot of people commute to Alberta, which is on the west of Canada, to go work in the oil rigs. It's often 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and it's a hard thing to do. Lots of people do it, and it comes with some challenges, also some good money at times. But that's what the song's about: the settling in or not settling into your life, and doing the best you can. Yeah.
And like I said, going out to all those hardworking people out there too, because we all know, and especially where I'm at too, because the refineries are down here, and everybody that has a job in the plants know it's shift work where you, like you said, 2 on, 2 off, and it's just a great song to dedicate to those people out there, right?
Yeah, thanks for sure. Yeah, and Cody was he worked out in the rigs, so he could relate to that, and the musician, the tour life's kind of like that at times too, on the road and off the road. So yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah. That's I've been out there to see it and hear from it, and like I said, I do dabble a little bit too as well. Go to concerts and promote events and things like that too. So I hear it from artists all the time, no doubt. Let's go to one on there too. The same record. We'll stick right there. What We Leave Behind, which came out in 2017, and again, these are all available nationwide wherever you guys download or stream music. Miner's Dream. I thought that had a good feel to it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I haven't talked about this one in ages. It's yeah, it's a story about a mining disaster that actually happened around Halifax, and tragic, devastating, affects a ton of lives when something like that happens. And it's just a song about a love story and a goodbye. So it's heavy one for sure, but fun to put together. And Gordy Sampson's featured pretty heavily on that with some riffs and yeah.
I like it. No, it's good stuff out there too. And we'll touch on this one too, and we'll get back to the new album here in just a little bit. But I thought this really stood out as a top song for me off that same record. John Wallace. And I wanted to kind of get the little backstory of that one too, because I thought that was another fantastic song.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a fun one too. It's in 6/8 time, which is kind of like a jig, a Celtic jig. And the story is about a ship that came from England to Prince Edward Island. And unfortunately, everybody died except for one fella who swam to shore, and he didn't make out too well in the end. But just talking about his courage to be the only survivor of this ship, the shipwreck just off of the East Point, actually, Prince Edward Island. And he made it to shore and was greeted by some local people. And anyways, he didn't make it in the end. But we tried to put a happier spin on his story because it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, another amazing song. Love that one out there. Again, that's from the album you guys can check out, which is What We'll Leave Behind. The songs we're talking about there too as well. Of course, Yours to Break and House of Dreams, which we're going to spend a little time on here, breaking down some of the tracks here. Again, it is the Backstage Pass, again, presented by our friends over at Hank Jr. Productions, and of course, our friends at Bangtail Whiskey at bangtail.com, or the Easy Liquor app is the best way to go about getting that product. We'll take a quick time out. More with Jake Cerrone here of the band The East Pointers. We'll come back here on the Backstage Pass live on the YouTube channel and at the Sports Guys podcast.com. More to come. Stay tuned.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And tomorrow on the show, Jessica Soul rounds out the week here on the Backstage Pass. And, of course, some great shows coming up next week. American Idol alum, Hunter Girl, coming on the show. Also, the winner of American Idol this past year, Noah Thompson. And here in a few weeks, the legend in country music, you know her, you love her, Lori Morgan's going to step right here on the Backstage Pass. We'll talk about a show coming up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She's going to be playing LaBerge Casino out there, and we'll be talking about that. And, of course, I'll relive a lot of those great hits in country music. December has Pat Green coming by and a whole lot more here. So keep it right here where the top stars hang out, the Backstage Pass. Jake Cerrone back here with the group The East Pointers, presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and, of course, Hank Jr. Productions. Let's dive into it, brother. House of Dreams, which is out there nationwide. For everybody out there for their listening pleasure. In fact, it came out the end of September, so almost a month old coming up with Halloween here. The title track, man, I thought, what you guys did, instrumentation, to lead into Stronger Than You Know, and of course Save Your Lonely. Let's talk about the title track in this project a little bit more.
Yeah, the title track House of Dreams was actually added after the fact. It was when we were locked down during the pandemic. I had to spend 2 weeks at Cody and his wife Chloe's house, and we recorded a ton of music. This was a track that Cody had written. Just lay it down, added a few layers, and it kind of just lived on my computer until the record was pretty well done. And we sent it to our producer and said, what do you think of this? We're thinking of sticking it on the front. And he thought it was great. And it's featuring Cody. I hope he'd be happy that it's on the album because we love it. And he's a special dude.
It's a great way to lead into the record too. And then you guys got into Stronger Than You Know, which is the second one on there too from this particular record in House of Dreams. Let's kind of dive into that one a little bit.
Yeah, it's a song about, I guess, just hunkering down and getting through tough times. It's based off of an actual storm that hit PEI. And Tim and Cody and I were talking about the wind that was coming off of East Point and hitting Cody's house. And he literally had to nail some 2x4s to keep his door on that night. And he showed up in the studio the next day and was like, boys, we got to write a song. This night was one of the craziest. So it's Stronger Than You Know. We wrote this and many of the songs on the album actually with a guy named Colin McDonald, who's the lead singer of a band called The Trues.
Okay.
Great band from Canada, rock band. Check them out. And an amazing songwriter. We did a lot of collaborations with him throughout the pandemic, just on Zoom.
When it comes to writing, what do you enjoy most about the process? Is it kind of just the real life experience, having to live it to be able to write it and then sing it? Or do you feel like sometimes it's just other sides of creativity?
Yeah, the whole process is amazing. We definitely love telling stories, whether it's stuff that we've been through or stuff that we've heard about. I guess that's where folk music is based. But it's really fun to just have an idea or a riff, or just see where something goes, where it starts and where it gets to with a collaborative effort. It's pretty cool, really fun.
Yeah, it's the best part. A lot of people say the co-writing is not for them because they write their own stuff and produce their own records. Some people say, hey, I have trouble sometimes coming up with ideas to write, so therefore stepping into co-writes kind of helps out a little bit there. Of course, that's just whatever fits and kind of floats your boat, I guess, a little bit. Let's talk about another one on there, Save Your Lonely. I thought that was a nice little ring to that, too, and always with a good song comes a good story, right?
Save Your Lonely. There you go. Yeah, that was another co-write with a friend called Carlton Stone. He's from Cape Breton, and Colin McDonald as well. Save Your Lonely, just about being away and communicating with someone back home. And, that can be hard for the person back home, but just wait till we get home. We'll sort it all out. And if you're still lonely, then that was the idea of the song. We'll deal with it later. And many musicians, I guess, can relate to that.
Yeah, and knowing how to save that lonely, no doubt, and it's one of those big things, like you said too. As well, we'll talk about it when I get back, and then in the end, if you're still sad, then we'll keep chatting. We work it out, no doubt. I thought this was interesting too, and this probably has a good personal side to it. Kayla for me.
Kayla for me, yeah. Not about a specific person named Kayla. More about just the idea of someone and. Maybe regretting not giving it a full chance or something like that. It's a love song, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sort of set in the summertime, and really fun to play with. So Derek Hoffman is the guy from Toronto who produced this album, and this one definitely came to life when we connected with Derek.
Yeah, and it's so important to have, as I talk to artists here on the program from Nashville and nationwide out there too, that, man, the producer is just so important. It's not just about laying down vocals and getting a proper instrumentation and choosing the right people to work with in the right camps. And for you guys, a great producer you talked about there too, because that's a key to a good record, right?
Yeah, for sure. Having just another set of ears that even just to make some decisions when you're in a band, and just to make some calls, and also bring his own flavor to the album. Derek's amazing. He's done some really cool albums, and it was a great fit. We did it all over Zoom, actually recorded it in my studio here, working with Derek on Zoom. And could have been a recipe for disaster, but it worked really well. Derek's super cool. He's a big sports fan as well, and we had some good.
He's in Toronto. Teams? Yeah,
he's Toronto. A pretty big Raptors fan.
Okay,
he's actually he's good friends with the Raptors coach Nick Nurse, so we're always texting Derek to get the inside scoop on that.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get up there because Toronto just a beautiful part of the country, no doubt, and I've always wanted to get up that border. And I will one day, because I got some friends that live on the west side of Canada over there near Edmonton and that area too. So I'd love to fly from Texas, just meet them in Toronto and kind of go see Niagara Falls. I'd love to go back there and see the Canadian side, and just a beautiful city, man. They say downtown's something else when you get there, So
yeah, totally. Yeah, come on up. Toronto's a great sports town too, if anyone's into. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought speaking of that too, baseball wise, everybody knows I'm a huge Astros fan. They're playing the Yankees in the American League Championship Series, but I kept predicting too at the same time that the Yankees would have been beaten by now, because my buddy's a Toronto Blue Jays fan, and he thought, like I said, as well as I did, they beat Seattle, beat the Yankees, and it beat Toronto and Houston in the ALCS. So I know it didn't happen, but there's always next year, right?
I know, yeah. It was we got swept there. I was hoping to see the Astros at some point, but not this year.
Yeah, and consider it. Regular season has nothing to do with the postseason, but again, you guys beat us 4 out of 6 in the regular season, so I was a little worried that I didn't think Seattle would play that well. Then, of course, we go out there, and for me, I was more worried about the Seattle series in the best of 5 than I am the best of 7 with New York now. So I guess it's we played in New York. I think we have that card, and we're gonna play that into
Yeah.
that out there. The one that shocked me the most, man, and talking sports here with you, is the National League side of Philadelphia and San Diego. I'm like, holy crap, nobody saw that coming.
I know. Yeah, it's been some great baseball. I dropped off a little bit once the Jays got kicked out there, but it's been some amazing baseball this fall.
Yeah, because I say one of my other teams got knocked out. My National League team, I always kind of get to go see in Arizona for spring training sometimes, is the LA Dodgers. People get on to me for being a Dodger fan, but I'm like, look, man, when they play Houston, I'm a Houston over LA. So just chill out. Everybody's got a second favorite team, National League and American League. Y'all know where I stand. 33 years as a Astros fan and still going, no doubt. And hey, we're kind of our own worst critic because we're going to be tough out there. We pay the prices to go to the games. We buy the tickets, and I mean, they make all that money. So as fans, we got a right to have some beef, every now and then.
There you go. Yeah, it's part of the fun.
It's part of the fun. I'll tell people, just voice your opinion. Bring the posters out there. Keep them in good taste. But at the same time, when they suck, you got to let them know. Sometimes people say during football teams, like, we have a crappy football team down here, and I'm not a fan of them anymore, the Houston Texans. And everybody's like, embrace the suck. Well, okay, there you go. It's a bad football team. It's a bad organization. But here in the next 2 or 3 years, they could be something. Now, I could care less because I'm an Arizona Cardinal fan. So
okay.
That's my team on the West Coast out there. When it comes to hockey, tell me about the Leafs, man. The season just opened, just last week, didn't it? Recently. And give me the outlook on the Leafs this year. What do you think?
Yeah, we're 4 games in. It's been a slow start. A lot of promise with the Leafs. They've had we think they're a contender, but they're not playing like that so far. Yeah. So we'll see. Definitely have some talent, but it's not coming together yet. So we'll see how it unfolds.
Plenty of hockey, babe. Plenty of hockey. And
definitely.
That's one of my favorite things to do, Jake, is to go watch it live. I've seen 4 or 5 games over the last couple of years in Dallas, and of course the Stars, and then we went to one, I think in 17, something like that, where the Leafs came down to play the Tampa Bay Lightning. I was on vacation down there. Buddy got tickets. I said, dude, hockey live. I'm there. Where's the beer? Let's have a good time. And
yeah, it's a great live sport for sure.
What do you? I mean, out there, just for me, sometimes I'll watch it on TV, and it's kind of like, I'm not sure where it's going to go. And then when I get there live, man, it's a totally different experience.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I grew up watching it on TV with my dad and stuff, so I love hearing the broadcast and stuff. So I miss that when I'm at the games, but it's definitely nice when you get close to the glass and you can feel the hits coming. And yeah, it's a great sport. I've been out to a couple, just the QMJHL is the smaller league around here before the NHL, and still it's some great hockey. The Charlottetown Islanders is my home team. It's been really fun.
I tell we used to have a minor league hockey team down here too, with minor league hockey too, called the Texas Wildcatters, and we kind of enjoyed going to see them too. And then we used to have one back in the day, probably 15 years ago, somewhere in there, called the Houston Aeros. They were a farm club for the NHL too. So we've had a lot of good, cool things. I love seeing hockey live. It's always one of my fun endeavors to go out and enjoy. Again, the album is House of Dreams. It's from the East Pointers out there. Available nationwide. Make sure you guys check it out. Hey, one more track before I do a little rapid fire, get to know you more on a personal basis. Happy as I've Never Been. Let's kind of break that one down a little bit, because that kind of closed the album too.
Yeah, it was just a line that we had that was in the notebook. Happy as I've never been. Didn't quite know what it meant, but thought it sounded cool, and kind of, yeah, we learned about it as we wrote it, and just about that feeling of, whether it's somebody or someplace that just gives you this feeling of happiness that maybe you haven't felt, or it's just a new feeling. And yeah, it was we wanted this song to feel good. It's the slowest, sort of laid back one on the album, but we wanted it to end as a nice positive feeling. So there you go.
I thought you guys did a good job with I always like to ask about this, when I think about it through the broadcast, because I love album covers that stand out to me, where you shot it, who shot it for you guys, what was the idea behind it, and considering the record's called House of Dreams, just love like the colors and the artwork. Who did you guys work with on that?
It was our buddy Aiden Cyril. He's an amazing graphic designer. And we took the idea to him. It's actually sort of featuring his house. Him and his wife Chloe bought this house a few years ago, a little cottage right on the coast. And Cody was always one he was obsessed with the road. He would have toured 300 days of the year, but I think just in the past few years he found some happiness being home, which was fun to watch him feel good just sitting around his house watching sports and stuff. And yeah, that was the house. That was the premise of House of Dreams, was just finding that spot.
Great album cover, man, no doubt. So again, make sure you guys check it out nationwide. All right, well, here's the point of the show. I get to have a little fun. What do you do for fun? We talked about hockey a little bit too. Any other hobbies outside of music for Jake Sharon?
Oh, lots of music these days. Doing a bit of producing, so I'm obsessed with like the studio stuff at the moment. That would be my main hobby right now. Yeah.
I like that, no doubt. We talk sports enough, no doubt. But is there like I know for me, it's the Arizona Cardinals, and of course, I watch the Dallas Cowboys down here. NFL team, I know CFL is real big up there because I did go to my first CFL game in 2017 when I saw the Edmonton Eskimos at the time. Of course, they've changed now. But when it comes to CFL or NFL, who do you follow?
I'd be a Bills fan.
Okay.
I'm kind of a new NFL fan, but I'm really loving it this year. I'm in a fantasy league, and the Bills will be the closest team to Toronto, so that was the team I'd cheer for if they made it far into the playoffs. But Josh Allen's crushing it this year, and it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, one of my teams this week, I was like, damn, they're on a bye week this week. I got to change one of my leagues, and I was like, well, Dak Prescott's coming back, so that's a pretty decent trade-off right there. But I got Josh on the bench when he comes back. And my 2-quarterback league, I love the ones with 2 quarterbacks, so you can get all the points, is Josh Allen and, of course, Joe Burrow. So I'm doing pretty good on that 2-quarterback
nice.
thing there. Just good.
All set.
All right, when it comes to food, man, what do you enjoy eating?
All sorts of stuff. Barbecue. It was a big summer of barbecue. I had a lot of barbecue, probably too much. But I'm gonna say that. Yeah.
I like it. Beverages, what do you drink?
Craft beer mostly. I'm actually doing sober October this month, so I'm sipping on some non-alcoholic stuff. But there's some amazing craft beers around the island here that are pretty fun. They make it nice, tasty. Actually, Libra, I'm sporting the hat. This is their non-alcoholic line, and they've got some pretty tasty. A few weeks in, it tastes a little better than it did the first couple days.
After you
I'm a beer fan.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I love tasting different beers. There's actually a place down here. I guess in Houston, they got some Houston, San Antonio, something like that. But it's called World of Beers, and you can actually walk in there and see all the freezers kind of back there in the fridge and everything, what's in there, and you walk up and kind of see what the brand, the name, all that kind of stuff, how it's made, get some stories behind it, and do some tastings, and then buy you a glass or whatever you want to do. So it's a cool place called World of Beers, and they do a great job out there. So I'm looking for some other Canadian beers, so I may have to talk to you about some good recommendations on that too, which is fantastic.
There's lots. Yeah.
All right, when it comes to pizza, man, what toppings go on your pie, dude?
I've got a couple kids these days, so that's it's usually just a pepperoni on one pie, and then might get a Hawaiian to switch it up with the other one. Yeah, I'm one of those pineapple fans.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just had that for the first time, and I thought pineapple on pizza would be disgusting, but put it with ham, and I was like, "There's Hawaiian." It came out pretty good, sweet, salty.
Yeah, you love it or hate it. I love it. Can't get enough.
Yeah, I just love it, man. Now, if I could actually eat pineapple on pizza, and everybody,
there you go.
I didn't knock it till I tried it, and I did knock it, but I tried it, and I was like, I'm in reverse mode now too, man. So this is all good. Well, I'll tell you what, this is awesome, man. I love the album. The inspiration behind it, dude, no doubt is fantastic. House of Dreams is out there nationwide for you guys across all the digital platforms. Make sure you go check it out and give them a follow. The East Pointers out there group, we're going to be keeping our eyes on here from all of us at the Backstage Pass. Jake, enjoyed the chat, my friend, and definitely let's do this again.
Yeah, I'd love to, Brandon. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Jake Sharon of the East Pointers. Tomorrow we'll have Jessica Soul come by here on the Backstage Pass. And, of course, you guys keep giving us comments too. Jan, pineapple on pizza. I have it with chicken as I'm allergic to pig.
Oh,
okay. So there you go. Comments, keep them coming here. And, of course, the East Pointers, hopefully reshare everything out tonight. If you missed the show, we'll get a chance to catch it on social media stuff out there. Also on the Sports Guys podcast.com. It's always there. And you guys can check it out on the Backstage Pass YouTube channel. We'll see you guys tomorrow with Jessica Soul at 4 o'clock. And then on Monday, Hunter Girl stopping by here on the Backstage Pass. Until then, have a terrific night. See you soon.